Hi everyone, welcome to my activity analysis of making coffee. Making coffee is an important everyday task for myself. I love coffee, I love to drink it, love the taste of it and smell. Many people drink coffee in their everyday morning routine as a wake-up call or a pick-me-up in the morning to kind of get their day started. Other people just use it as a method of relaxing. And then some people use it as more of a social thing when they get together with friends, maybe at a coffee shop or a family get-together or things of that nature. So let's go into the steps of how to make a cup of coffee using a standard coffee maker and just regular coffee. First, we're going to obtain our items. You're going to reach into the cupboard if they're in the cupboard by flexing the shoulder, extending the elbow, using a hook grasp on the counter, on the cupboard, pull to open. Using a cylindrical grasp, you're going to grasp the coffee container, and with a 3-jaw chuck prehension, you are going to grab the coffee filter and lower down to the countertop. To close the counter, you're going to flex the shoulder, and to close, extend the elbow outward. To open the coffee, with your palm down using your dominant hand, you're going to hook the lid, apply pressure with the fingers, and pull upward by extending the wrist. Inside, you'll see that there's a scoop inside the coffee. Now, just for sake, I'm going to be moving the coffee pot out here. To open the lid of this particular coffee pot, you're going to use a lateral prehension to open the top of the coffee pot like so. The coffee filter basket is inside already. With your 3-jaw chuck, you're going to take your coffee filter, put it inside, and then with that same pattern, you're going to push the filter down into the basket. To scoop the coffee, you want to take your dominant hand, again with a lateral prehension, grab the scoop out of the coffee container. Scoop the coffee by digging into the grounds, deviating the wrist, and scooping upward with the scoop. Now you're going to bring it over to the coffee pot, and you're going to pronate the arm to dump the grounds into the coffee pot. You will repeat this step as many scoops as required, depending on the strength of the coffee that you like. Return the scoop back to the coffee container. Pick up the lid using that same grasp that you had. Place on the top of the coffee pot, palm down, and press down to snap. Now that the grounds are in the coffee pot, you're going to remove the coffee pot out of the coffee machine by, with a cylindrical grasp, removing the coffee pot by extending the shoulder, flexing the elbow. I'm going to take 2 steps over to the sink to fill up the coffee pot with water. Again, depending on the strength of the coffee and how much coffee is desired, will depend on how much water you're going to add to the pot. With a 3-jaw chuck prehension, I'm going to grab the top of the faucet, lift upward on the handle, place the coffee pot under the running water to fill up with water. Once filled, depress the handle back down to shut the water off. Pull back to the coffee pot to the starting position. Take your 2 steps back towards the counter to your coffee pot, and then we're going to fill. You're going to flex the shoulder, abduct the shoulder, and pour coffee into the coffee, pour water into the coffee pot. You'll want to hold this position until all the water is dispensed into the reservoir. To return the coffee pot back, you're going to flex the shoulder forward and put the coffee pot back in. To close the top of the coffee pot, with your lateral prehension, grab the top of the lid, close. With your first digit, you're going to turn on the coffee pot by hitting the on and off button in the front. Now you wait for the coffee to brew. While we're waiting for the coffee to brew, there are several ways that we can adapt this activity and grade this activity to make it easier for people to do. For example, I stood for the entire activity. If I had decreased endurance, I could do this easily in a seated position. I could have my countertop higher or lower to make it easier. There are also several different styles of coffee pots that you can use. They have several coffee pots that have pre-filled filters that you could stick in here. That would eliminate the scooping portion and filling portion of the filter basket. Another thing that you can do to alter how you fill your coffee pot is if you have a sink readily available or not. If you do not, you could always use bottled water to fill the coffee pot as well. There are several new styles of coffee pots that have pre-filled cartridges of coffee that you simply just have to have water in the reservoir tank and insert the coffee disc into the coffee machine and press a button and it makes one single cup of coffee. If grass patterns are a problem, you could always build up the handle of the coffee pot with a foam handle. You could make an extended lever on the top ledge here, build up things here. You can also have the items required to prepare the activity readily available rather than having in a cupboard. So now that our coffee is brewed, we're going to be pouring it into a coffee cup. With your coffee cup here, you're going to be removing the coffee pot just like we did when we filled up the reservoir tank. You're going to grasp the handle with a cylindrical grasp, you're going to have your elbow flexed, and you're going to extend the shoulder backward. At this point now, we're going to pour, by deviating the wrist, pouring the desired amount of coffee into the cup. You want to be careful at this point because the coffee is very hot, and by spilling, we could burn ourselves, so be very careful. And then again, to return, you're going to flex the shoulder and extend the elbow out to put the coffee back into. To grasp the cup, with a hook grasp, you're going to grasp the handle, you're going to flex the elbow, slightly abduct the shoulder, and bring up to the mouth to sip. Delicious. That is my activity analysis of making coffee. Hope you all enjoyed.